Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, 49ers fans. This is the Cohn phone. I did one yesterday. I'll do one more this weekend, just because I didn't take everyone's call. I like to take everyone's call. So I'll be here for the next hour. Spent the night in Carmel last night. Fired off some pretty great tweets. Might have had one drink, maybe half a drink. Sent out some great tweets. Had a nice time. Drove the Kia Stinger down there, came back, was reading Twitter, and I saw Matt Mayoko compare Jimmy Garoppolo to a high-performance sports car, and I love the idea of comparing Jimmy G to a car. So I'm going to stick with that. I build this as the Niners' plan at left tackle. We've been talking a lot of quarterbacks, recently. I'll take any question you guys have, but if you want to talk about non-quarterback things today, I'm getting the conversation started with the left tackle thing. I'm going to address that, but first, the Jimmy G thing. If Jimmy G were a car, what kind of car would he be? I'm not really sure. I'm not a real car guy. I just drive a Kia Stinger GT2 2018 twin turbo. I don't know what any of that means, but I like it. So now I feel like I'm an expert. So I'm going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo if he were a car. I'm going to take your calls first. Just bear with me real quick. So if Jimmy Garoppolo were a car, we know he would not be a high-performance sports car. He wouldn't be a McLaren. He wouldn't be a Ferrari. He wouldn't be a Porsche. He wouldn't be anything that's fun to drive. He wouldn't be a BMW or a Mercedes. He would be very expensive, though. He would look nice, parked outside, and he'd be slow, and he wouldn't turn that well. Very expensive, looks good. So what is that? I don't know. Like a Rolls Royce? Like a Bentley? One of those cars you see in LA that's parked outside the hookah restaurant, just to let you know that it's a nice place. The owner has a Rolls Royce, that kind of thing. Parked out there. Do you drive it? Do you have fun driving? I don't know. Who drives a Rolls Royce? You're meant to sit in the back seat with that, right? So the Niners have a Rolls Royce at quarterback. Thing is, they got this Rolls Royce used. Now, there were only 7,000 miles on it. It was like new, but it was used. And when you looked at the Carfax report, there was a significant accident on it. Head-on collision. They fixed it. And it looks like new. Not a lot of miles, but there was that one accident. And, the Niners very excited. Maybe it was the only Rolls Royce available that in the Bay Area at that time. They still spent $125,000 on it. They're spending $15,000, maybe $2,000 a month on this Rolls Royce that was used, had been in an accident, and when they got it, the engine fell apart. 3 months into owning it, the engine fell apart. They had to remake the entire engine, and now a slow car is even slower. Still spending $2,000 a month on a Rolls Royce that's now 5 years old, and that's what you got. Not only that, you have this Rolls Royce that's really a lemon. And you're spending way too much for it. You can't justify spending $2,000 a month on a terrible Rolls Royce, and you don't even have a garage for it. It's parked outside, and it's gotten broken into 4 times. People just key it. You have no garage to protect it. It's just out there battling the elements and the people who look at it oh, that's a nice car. Let me see if there's 15 cents in there. Because I need 15 cents. I'm going to break in the back. That's what you got. It's all your friends are dude, do you really need that Rolls Royce, man? Wasn't that a bad purchase? Couldn't you? And it's now the Niners are well, yeah, but at the time you could understand why we got the Rolls Royce. It looked really nice. We hadn't had a nice car since 1998. We went so long. So we were okay, I'm going to get the Rolls Royce. I'm going to splurge. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to trade it in. They're going to trade it in. Hey, this is a Rolls Royce. It's in good shape. It's had a couple 4 accidents, but we fixed them. There's no dents on the car now. We really put a lot of money into fixing this Rolls Royce, and now we want to sell it for $100,000. $100,000. And the people are what are you talking about? There's 70,000 miles on it. It's been in 8 accidents. It's a terrible Rolls Royce. It's the worst Rolls Royce on the market. No one wants this. We'll give you $30,000 for it. How's that? So the Niners are man, we spent $125 on this. We're going to lose almost $100,000. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. But what are you going to do? Keep driving, keep spending $2,000 a month on a terrible Rolls Royce that's going to break down? Cut your losses, guys. Cut your losses. Get rid of the Rolls Royce. Get like a Toyota Corolla. Until you get the garage that can protect the car, why don't you drive a Toyota Corolla, a Nissan Maxima? I wouldn't even go for the Kia Stinger. I wouldn't park my Kia Stinger outside. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Someone could breathe on it wrong. No, don't go splurge for the quarterback until you get a garage, 49ers. Is that fair? Anyway, I think he's a broken down Rolls Royce with a nice paint job. They took it to exhibit and he pimped it out a little bit. They put like a fishbowl in the back seat. It's color shifting. It's chameleon print, but it's still a terrible Rolls Royce. Okay, left tackle situation. I think it's real possible that Trent Williams is going to be a goner, that he's not coming back. The Niners aren't the kind of team that give an offer, get rebuffed, and then up it. They usually give an offer, and if a guy wants more, they say, hey, good luck. Emmanuel Sanders, DeForest Buckner. That's the way I see it. So if they don't have him, who's the left tackle? It's not Justin School. It's not Mike McGlinchey. It could be Rashawn Slater. Although some people feel he's not even a tackle. He's short, got short arms. It could be Daniel Brunskill. That could be the Niners left tackle next year. So let's just kick off the conversation that way. What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you again. I can't hear you. Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So basically, a left tackle situation, I would say we should let Trent Williams go and probably look through the draft. That's my idea.
Okay. So, what do you think about Daniel Brunskill out there?
I don't think that will work. We should.
No.
Yes.
No, he did play a little left tackle in 2019. Justin School started about 8 games there and then finally got benched against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Brunskill replaced him and was fine. I would be interested to have Brunskill actually compete with McGlinchey on the right side. But on the left side, I'd like someone in the draft.
Yeah, but the thing is, offensive line was, even with Trent Williams, we were not okay.
No,
so
absolutely not.
If Trent Williams leaves, at least we need an upgrade, not a downgrade. Even it is not at Trent Williams level, at least we should have something closer to Trent Williams. That's right. Why I think draft is the best option.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like if the Niners don't get Sewell or Slater, it's possible that there's no rookie who would be better than Daniel Brunskill in 2021. It's possible. And the Niners may want to take a quarterback with that pick or a corner. So I get that. Also, you could go out and draft and sign another left tackle, but those guys are very expensive. And if they're free agents, maybe they've had injuries, kind of like Russell Okung has missed a lot of times. Maybe you put Daniel Brunskill at left tackle for a year and sign an excellent center and an excellent guard and do it that way. Is that, what do you think?
Yeah, that's true. But the problem is, if we do not find a good option at the draft,
yes.
Let's say we go for the Daniel Brunskill option.
Yes.
And we are going to ruin the quarterback that we are going to draft.
Yes.
So you are going to lose the quarterback.
But here's the thing. I do think Brunskill is a competent offensive tackle. I think he's a better offensive tackle than Mike McGlinchey. That's not saying much. But I do think he's competent. I think he's better at tackle than guard. Obviously, he shouldn't be the answer. I think he could be part of a competition. But if he somehow won the left tackle job, making the little amount of money that he makes, you can now spend that money on multiple positions. And maybe the offensive line can be better without Trent Williams because you have a Pro Bowl center, a Pro Bowl guard opposite Laken Tomlinson. What do you think? I don't know.
Yes. And what about this, the guy from Pittsburgh Steelers? He's
Alejandro Villanueva.
Yes.
Good option. He'll just be very expensive too. I mean, if Trent Williams gets 21, 22, Villanueva could get 17, 18. It's a big time left tackle.
Yeah,
left tackle.
But I don't know whether this is something off the topic, but I feel like one of the reasons that Steelers decided to let him walk on the free agency is the incident regarding that his the helmet.
Yes.
Yeah, he went against the team protocol.
Right.
So I'm not sure whether any organization would at this moment willing to get him. I mean, join him to the team.
Interesting.
In that situation.
Interesting. So there's a whole political thing going on with him as well.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
With this situation,
it's part of the deal.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, whether we like it or not, now you can't separate it. I mean, after what happened last year, I mean, not only football, right? NBA, everything.
Yes.
You can't separate it anymore. Sports and politics.
It's true.
Everything is integrated.
Yeah.
So you have to consider everything. Otherwise, you will get blamed.
Yeah.
Basically, the teams would think like, okay, this is damaged goods. However good he is, it doesn't matter whether the PR nightmare that we will have to go through.
Well, let's look at it this way, though, to bring it back to Brunskill real quick.
Yes.
I know you're thinking, like, should the Niners make Daniel Brunskill a starting left tackle? That's a hard sell. I guess the more interesting question is, do you think the Niners might actually do that? Do you think if Trent Williams walks, the Niners will say, well, you know what? We like Daniel Brunskill anyway. We didn't really need Trent Williams. We gave Daniel Brunskill a year to develop. He's a better player now, and we believe. And Daniel, he's going to – you think that could happen?
I mean, obviously. Because Niners – one thing with Niners is that they are very unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they would just say at a moment. I mean, even before the season starts, if you remember, regarding again, we are going to Jimmy.
Yes.
During one press conference, Robert Saleh told about a pass that deep ball Jimmy G made, right? He did this brilliant throw. I think it was to Brandon Ayuk or something. But the very next day, when it was the reporters asked from Kyle Shanahan, he said, no, he has to improve a lot more than this, right? So Robert Saleh is saying something, Kyle is saying something about the same player, your franchise quarterback. So I think they are always giving mixed signals. So it's really hard to evaluate what's wrong. I mean, what's the truth and what is not.
Yeah, it's true. It's tough. I view Daniel Brunskill as one of these undrafted free agents the Niners have identified and developed who are hardworking, self-starter guys who have real potential. I mean, guys who almost develop themselves. I look at Daniel Brunskill as being much more mature and professional than Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey's depending on someone to help him, lead him along. Daniel Brunskill does that for himself. Ross Dwelly does that for himself. Kendrick Bourne does that for himself. Jeff Wilson does it. Nick Mullins. There's this whole group of these guys who have, a certain level of ability because they were undrafted, but they maximize the hell out of it. And I don't know if Daniel Brunskill's home is at left tackle. It might be at right tackle. He's interesting. He's got to be in the plan somehow. And after a year of him starting, I doubt the plan is to put him on the bench. So what's it going to – it could be right guard. It could be left tackle. Because, they might take a quarterback at 12. And then and what are your options?
If I ask you this, okay, do you believe that Brunskill has the same ability to develop as a player opposed to what Fred Warner did? I mean, he developed immensely, right?
Fred Warner had more gifts. He was a third-round pick. I would compare this guy to like a Kendrick Bourne, a guy who could develop into a solid starter. I don't think he's going to be a guy who gets, $20 million a year at any point in his life, but he could be a solid starter. And if he could be a solid starter at left tackle, that'd be great because he'd be cheap. And you could get a great starter at center, a great starter at right guard, and not have just one good left tackle and 4 scrubs, or you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yes.
All right. Well, good to see you 2 days in a row.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.
All right. I got to bring Mike Miller on the show real quick. Got to do a little business.
I'm glad you did.
Of course, man.
I wanted to talk about the offensive line.
All right.
Daniel Brunskill, remember when he started at tackle, he gave up 0 sacks during his stint at tackle.
That's right.
And that's all you can ask for.
Yes. That's all you can ask for. I mean, the Niners' issues are pass protection. If they say, well, he can't execute the outside, who cares? You have an issue with pass protection. That's the most important pass protecting position. maybe that's his home.
Yeah.
He's definitely better than
Two
McGlinchey.
guys I want you to watch in the draft.
Okay.
Coming up. One is the Quinn Martinez or whatever, the UW from Whitewater.
Okay.
And then the guy from Clemson. Let me pull it up just so I get his name correct. Not Clemson, but Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Cleveland.
Okay.
He's nasty.
Okay.
And we would be able to get him at the 43rd pick easily. Pure nasty. I mean, I told you before, it's loaded with offensive guards, centers, and stuff in this draft from 2 to 4 and everything. But
do you think that 43 pick is a perfect spot for O-line?
Perfect spot for O-line.
Perfect spot for interior O-line.
And if you bring in an interior guy, he's going to plug and play that Ben Cleveland plug and play at left guard because a lot of our fans and stuff like that think that we have a good left guard. We don't have a good left guard. He's below average. I put him at left guard probably 25th or so in the league out of 32.
Only reason people don't talk about him is because Mike McGlinchey is the target. He takes all of the heat. But Laken Tomlinson, if it weren't for McGlinchey, it would be Laken.
Yeah, and there's people that say, Mike McGlinchey is probably the best right tackle at run. But if you're number 32 at the pass, we don't need you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, it's not 1994 anymore. It's a passing league now, and it's
if we rush the ball 100 times, 100% of the time, he'd be the best right tackle in the game.
And that's kind of what they did in 2019 because they were like never losing all season. But eventually in the Super Bowl, it became pastime, and he fell apart. Garland fell apart. Person fell apart. End of season.
Daniel plug and play. I think he would be. I think he could probably be a potential All-Pro eventually there.
Good to know. So, what if you're thinking O-line in round 2? What are you thinking? What position in round 1? Mac Jones, quarterback, or
quarterback? You got to go quarterback. You cannot win with a guy that. If you were to bet in Vegas, I would bet Jimmy G would be injured next year again. You got about a 90% chance.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
Right.
Same thing with.
How would you bet against that? You wouldn't bet against.
You wouldn't bet against it. The odds say he's going to get injured. The same thing with Bosa. It's probably 80% odds he's going to get injured too.
Yes.
And also wanted to say something too about our star linebacker Fred Warner. If you can't sign Buckner at $21 million, you're not going to sign Fred Warner at 20.
That's what I keep saying. Like, why is it? This is the same thing happening the next year. They're not going to change their mind because. Warner, I mean, what's the difference? They're both leaders.
What position's more valuable, left tackle or a linebacker they're dime a dozen in my book?
Yep. That's right. And
you got to get the left tackle situated. O-line, you got to protect your quarterback. Linebacker, we can draft 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, and get somebody that's. I mean, I think Greenlaw's the best linebacker on the team.
Well, he might.
I do.
He's fastest. He's the most violent.
Better tackler. Always in the play. Fred Warner's better coverage guy. But that's why we take care of the secondary, so we ain't got a linebacker trying to cover all these wide receivers.
I see it. So you think that the Niners will ultimately re-sign Trent Williams and not be able to give Fred Warner his money?
Trent's not going anywhere. Kyle and in love. He's not going anywhere.
I see.
They're going to pay the money. It's just that they're going to be forced to do it. And remember, there's not many teams. Let me pull up the cap situation. There's not many teams at all. And plus, like New Orleans, they're going to have to release their left tackle because
Armstead,
he has how much dead money? $4 million dead money, and they can save right at $12 million. They still 60-some million over the cap.
You
think about that. There's not going to be many people playing in free agency, and people like Trent Williams, they may think they're going to get big money. There's going to probably be 5 or 6 players that's going to get the big money from the top 4 or 5 teams. Then it's dead.
That's a good point.
There's going to be a lot of one-year deals, hoping the cap jumps big time next year again. Then they'll go out and get their extended deals.
So hold on. How do you think that the Fred Williams, the Fred Warner situation plays? It's exactly the same. A trade before the draft. Right before the draft.
Be traded
for a mid-first. And then the Niners will package that with their 12.
I say he's worth a first and a second.
Okay, so the Niners will package those picks and move up for a quarterback, or they'll just who knows what they'll do.
If they were smart.
Yeah.
The best player in the draft is the wide receiver from Alabama.
He reminds me of Marvin Harrison.
He's
that
nasty.
guy's really good.
He's nasty.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, if you're gonna get a quarterback, why not put the
guy who
Mac
played with him in
Jones
college. Yeah.
back with Smith again?
Yeah.
And Brandon Ayuk, nasty.
Yeah.
It would be a nasty combination.
All right, we got to talk soon about getting my articles on your.
I'm posting them on there now too.
Oh,
So
thanks,
I see
man. I
you just
appreciate it.
joined. So
Thank you so much, man. Good to
hopefully
see you
it'll
again.
grow.
Yeah,
All right.
that'd be nice. Thank you. All right, I'll talk
All right,
soon.
we'll see you.
All right, bye. All right. Yo, what's up, Thrax?
Yo, what's up, Grant? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So I'm gonna make my case for why we should draft Justin Fields and why. All right.
Oh,
So-
beautiful. Thank you.
So I know there's been a lot of Justin Fields on your channel, and that's mostly been like, well, he's a poor man's Cam Newton, right? But I'm gonna make my argument of why we should get him and now, right?
Please
If
do.
we
Because the context is I just saw Charlie Casserly's mock draft. They had him falling to 24. I was like, wow. So anyway, he could be there for the Niners. So let's talk.
All right. So if you talk about a Super Bowl window for the 49ers, I'm gonna say it's pretty much right now. And the reason why I say now is because our next year's schedules is easy, pretty slight. And I'm thinking if there's any quarterback that's gonna, take us far during that run, what I'm saying, for that easy schedule, I don't see Kellen Mond doing that. I really like Kellen Mond. I'm a fan, but I'm saying you can't start him at the beginning of the season in his rookie season and expect him to go very far. But I'm saying if you put Justin Fields, probably the highest chance of making a playoff run, which is rare for a rookie, but that's my take on it.
See, that's interesting. When I watch Fields and Mond, what I see with Fields is a guy who's more athletic, has a higher upside, but is less polished. When I watch Kellen Mond, I see a guy who's mobile, who's a good athlete, not as athletic as
He has
freaking Justin Fields.
But
he does have the tools. I like that about Mond, but not like the tools that Fields has. Not even close.
Right. He's got
what
the
he
arm,
has
the
is
legs.
he's got all the experience. And when I watch the
True.
coaches film, I see a guy who basically goes to the right spot more often than not. Fields, I feel like, isn't there yet. And I don't know if he ever will be there. But he might get there. I just feel like I actually think Fields is going to struggle early on. I think Mond might be closer to what he might be closer to a finished product.
Definitely. Also, I think that Fields is a good fit, especially in the Shanahan system where the throws are going to be easy for him. It's not like he's going to be asked to do a lot, and they're not going to make him like a pocket passer like they would Jimmy, because eventually they just had Jimmy stop running out of the pocket, and then he was just getting smacked around because McGlinchey can't hold a pass for his life. But I think if you put Fields in there, he's able to run around a little bit, and he's going to be able to hand it off to Raheem Mostert. You could throw an end around to Deebo Samuel. I think it would be a really good fit for him, and I really think you can't miss on him if the Niners do take him.
See, I guess I keep coming back to like Sam Darnold. I watched Sam Darnold a couple weeks ago, and I saw like, wow, this guy can't execute. Like, he's a good athlete, but he doesn't know where to go with the ball, and he's missing open receivers. So it's Adam Gase's fault to an extent, but actually there's people open, and he's not seeing them. And I see that with Justin Fields too. Like at Ohio State, there's a guy open every play. And it takes him a while to find the guy, but he has all the time and space in the pocket he needs. And if he doesn't find the guy, he can just, I'll just run for 15 yards.
Exactly.
So he can do whatever he wants to do. I think in the NFL, he's going to have to be more refined. I mean, Dak Prescott doesn't play that way.
Also, I know we haven't seen Shanahan develop a lot of quarterbacks, but one thing to think about is I was watching the film with George Kittle. He did like an interview with the NFL, and he was talking about how Shanahan said, if you drop your head to the left, like the safety will drop you. Like when you're telling your players to do that and you get like really deep into the game, I think it'll be a lot easier for Justin Fields. And I think he will be able to coach him and develop him better than definitely a Jimmy Garoppolo. And his upside could be huge. Like, what if he really is the next Cam Newton, but, he's Justin Fields now? So,
yeah, I it's possible, man. I think he needs a lot of development. I think he needs
definitely,
because Ohio State doesn't do it. It's partially their fault. Like what they're at, they don't make him do much at the line of scrimmage. He looks at everyone looks at the sideline. The coaches tell him what to do.
And you have 5-star recruits all around.
Everywhere, people are open. You have time. You're winning. Your defense is great. I mean, even if you mess up,
receivers, running back, it's all given to you.
when he played against Northwestern or Indiana, I mean, he threw all these picks and it didn't matter. They won. So
Right.
I don't know. What happens is if you start playing like that on the Jets and they lose, everyone's going to blame
You're
you.
gone.
And it's not even your fault, really. It's just that you don't have Ohio State backing you anymore. And that's how these guys get our busts, because there's too many expectations.
You're
on the Jets. Yes.
So you can't really blame them,
Only thing about the Niners, I feel like until they get an offensive line, you're really – not really putting any quarterback. Yes, right. It's dangerous that you're not putting any quarterback in a position to succeed. So all of a sudden, Fields starts getting hit a little bit. They realize he doesn't know what to do against the blitz. Now you're
right.
You're risking your investment.
Even if the Niners had the number 1 pick and we're like, okay, we're getting Trevor Lawrence, our offensive line, you can't keep him alive. I mean, he's going to get eaten alive.
Look what happened in Cincinnati last year. It just happened. Just freaking happened. It's like, well, were the Bengals wrong to draft Joe Burrow? Not necessarily, but look what happened.
Those were good choices, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. I got to watch more Justin Fields. I guess the thing about the final thing I'll say to you is anyone who wants to take Justin Fields in round 1, you got to tell me what the issue was against Indiana and Northwestern. Like, explain those games to me. Yeah, I know every player has bad games, but that dude, like 100%. Mac Jones didn't have those games this year.
But Mac Jones didn't have Alabama.
Yeah, but dudes at Ohio State, they're both very good teams. I mean,
that's true.
They both recruit at the top. So what happened?
I think the final thing to say about Justin Fields is he's a good pick depending on where you get him. If you have to trade up to 2 to 5 or 7, then it really depends what you have to give up for it. And if you truly believe that you're going to be able to give him an O-line to where he can succeed. Because if you trade up to number 2 and you have Mike McGlinchey as your starting right tackle and he's the best person to count on, I mean, you may as well just throw away next season.
Right. I mean, honestly, he's got the weapons, he's got the run game, he's got the coordinator, but
you got a George
offensive line is key. Yeah, right. No question. But the offensive line is key.
Definitely. And again, they might do a 29. They might do a 2019 where they have George Kittle blocking most of the time, and that's what makes the O-line look good. And they're like, oh, see, look, McGlinchey's great. We don't need an upgrade because you have Kittle blocking right next to him.
Yeah, I don't know. True.
I don't know.
All right, man. I'm gonna be more open-minded about Justin Fields, but go back and watch those games and think about what happened there. Because to me, I don't see necessarily. I just see that was the indicator of his inexperience. Like that's where you're saying like maybe he's going to take a couple of years, and that's fine. It took Josh Allen a couple of years too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course,
for sure.
Of course. See you next time. All right, Alex, you're next. What's up?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, man?
So I have a question about quarterbacks, especially in the NFC West.
Okay.
So I was looking at an interview. It was Cam Newton and a bunch of other NFL players, and he was basically throwing the Patriots under the bus, saying, yo, it's not his fault. They just didn't give him any weapons. I honestly think if we have the opportunity, we should get Cam Newton for $1 million, $3 million. Mm-hmm. And then I think we should draft a quarterback round 1. And now instead of having a whole D-line full of first-round picks, we have a whole quarterback room full of first-round picks. One of them has to stick. I think that would be smart, whether it be Josh Rosen, Cam Newton, or Justin Fields.
I think Cam Newton can execute all the stuff Jimmy Garoppolo executes. The offense has become so, condensed for Jimmy Garoppolo's limited skill set, all the short throws. Cam Newton can do that stuff too. I actually am more enthusiastic about Cam than I think most people on my channel, most of my guests and stuff. For the price point at $3 million, that's probably cheaper than Andy Dalton. And the guy really has, he's, as opposed to Andy Dalton, who has accomplished zero when it matters. Zero. Cam Newton's been in big games. Cam Newton's been in the Super Bowl. Cam Newton's won playoff games. Cam Newton can help your running game. Cam Newton didn't have any weapons last year. That's the truth. So I would be kind of interested in, and again, like the previous caller was talking about Justin Fields. If the option is draft Justin Fields in round 1, that's quite an investment. Or sign Cam Newton for 1 year, $3 million. I would sign Cam because I think Cam's better than Justin Fields right now. Maybe Justin Fields will be better than Cam in 2-3 years, but now just give me Cam. If you're already thinking down the Justin Fields mobile quarterback route anyway, get Cam in and draft a dude like Kellen Mond who can sit behind him. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I like that.
Given
Keep Cam
that,
on the table. People aren't really enthusiastic about him, but
yeah, I really
think
like
he's
Cam.
kind of improved.
Think
I think he's improved. His quarterback, his completion percentage has gone way up the last few years. I think he's a more mature quarterback. He's not that old, and he's never really played on a team with playmakers like in his life that I can think of.
Absolutely. And with that being said, do you think if we do get Cam, where would that put us in the NFC West? Because, maybe Russ can be leaving. And to be honest, I'm not sure about the Rams because I think the big reason why we were so dominant against the Rams was because of Jared Goff and his turnovers. I don't know how it's going to be. And also with Robert Saleh leaving, I don't know how we're going to handle Kyler Murray. We couldn't stop him. I don't know if DeMeco Ryans can contain.
Look, I don't know that Cam is a huge upgrade over Jimmy G. I don't know that Cam's a huge upgrade over Jimmy G. Cam has his own issues, but he'd be way cheaper. And I think it's the beginning of a series of moves. If you get rid of Jimmy G and bring in someone that costs $3 million and it's Cam Newton, then it's like it's a trade. It's a trade-off. It's Jimmy G or Cam plus all these other players that you've signed with the money that you save by getting rid of Jimmy. So that's the way to look at it. I mean, Cam by himself doesn't vault the 49ers anywhere, but he could be a lateral move who improves the running game with his own mobility and a guy who allows you to buy a whole new offensive line or something like that. That's the way I look at it.
All right, for sure. I have one last thing. Okay. So you talked about this whole plan you had about like trading Bosa for the second round.
Yes.
Like that, right? All right. Look, hypothetical. Yeah, hypothetical. Let's say we do trade Bosa for the second round pick, right? And
No. For the number 2 pick in the draft.
For number 2. My bad.
Yeah. All right, sorry. I don't want people to get it twisted.
All right. Okay. And let's say the Jaguars just like throw a curveball and they say, no, I think Zach Wilson is my guy. I think Justin Fields is my guy. And then Trevor Lawrence falls in number 2. Do you still go along with your plan or do you take Trevor Lawrence?
I would take Trevor Lawrence.
Take Trevor Lawrence? You just throw your whole plan out the window.
I mean, I didn't expect that. I think Trevor
you
Lawrence
never know.
I think Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. I think he's going to be really good on Jacksonville, on any team. No, the Niners don't have the offensive line for him.
You're going to miss out on Penei Sewell, possibly Casey Horn for a quarterback.
I think I would do it. I would take Trevor Lawrence. What would you do?
I would take Trevor Lawrence.
I think I would take Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I think I would take him. Yep.
But all right.
Good stuff, man. Right. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
All right. David, how are you?
Hi, Grant. Doing well. You hear me all right?
What's on your mind today, David?
No, I want to non-QB questions, running backs.
Great.
I have QB things I like to talk about, but the backfield.
Okay.
So I'm thinking. So I like the running back by committee approach. I think the Niners are going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Instead of looking for a feature back, and I think they're going to end up with Mostert, Wilson Jr., and Hasty trio.
I like that trio. What do you think of that trio?
Oh, I love it. And they're all undrafted, originally undrafted, I think. And I love undrafted guys who.
Me too.
Me
too. I always pull for those.
Is that a good? How do they compare to other committees around the NFL?
I think it's a hell of a committee. I think it's. I don't know how it necessarily compares. I think it'd be one of the better ones. All of them have had injuries, but when healthy, they complement each other because Mostert is the fastest player in the league. Jeff Wilson is the guy who runs between the tackles and runs as hard as any running back I've seen on the Niners in a long time. And JaMychal Hasty's that guy who's really small and quick and elusive, and it's almost like he gets lost in the backfield and all of a sudden he's downfield. I think they all have something unique. And what I think they should do is instead of just relying on all three, just keep signing 2 undrafted free agent running backs a year because that works for them, right?
I think running back is the shortest longevity in the league in terms of position, with exception.
Obviously.
Like
because every play they get the ball, it's like it's not just one person hitting them, it's like the whole defense.
Yeah, and they're supposed to hit the back. You get into the secondary, they're hitting the cornerbacks.
Yes.
There's like a lot of punishment.
Yes. So I'm cool with those three as the trio, bringing a couple more rookies. It seems like this running back coach, Bobby Turner, is one of the secret superstars on the team. And just let him do his magic. It works. There's a track record. I don't know. The only thing that scares me is that Kyle Shanahan seems to like to overinvest in running backs. There was Jerick McKinnon, there was Joe Williams, there was Tevin Coleman, and now they're all gone. It's like, Kyle, are you going to draft a quarterback in round 1? Are you going to go out and spend $50 million on Aaron Jones? I say it ain't so. You don't need to. So I don't know. Maybe he's watching right now. Kyle, if you're watching, don't do that.
Yeah, I like having a group.
We like the trio that you got already. Give him a chance.
Quick change of topic to QB. I think Rosen is going to win the number 2 job in camp preseason.
Yeah.
Behind, and they'll have number 3, whether it's
Mullins or a rookie. Yeah.
And I think if he does get the number 2, there's a good chance he's going to see playing time in the season.
Right. I agree. And that will be very interesting.
It'll
be very interesting. It seems to me that if the problem with the Niners taking a quarterback at 12 is they already have a developmental quarterback on their team. They already have a guy that they need to develop who has as many physical gifts as anyone. I mean, you compare Josh Rosen to Mac Jones. Josh Rosen is much more gifted than Mac Jones. Why are you just going to give up on Josh Rosen for some kid who started 17 games in college? Like, he doesn't need development too. So, yeah, you could argue that maybe the Niners won't even draft a quarterback at all. They'll say, well, we have Josh Rosen. That's our guy, and that's who we committed to developing. I don't know if they're committed to him. But
people forget, like Steve Young, when he started his playing career, 2 years in Tampa was considered a bust. 4 years backup of Montana. Age 30 and 91, he's starting, finally.
Right.
Montana has elbow injury.
Yeah, it takes time.
When he gets hurt, Steve Bono, he's held out for Steve Bono, talking about, so, his good playing days were age 30 plus. So
that's right. It takes time to learn how to play quarterback from the pocket. And it also takes some good luck. You want to be on a good team with a good coach. And Josh Rosen, for the first time in his life, has found that. So let's see if the Niners commit to him or they just get rid of him. I have no idea. Sometimes I feel like John Lynch brings a guy in and Kyle doesn't like him and they're not on the same page. I don't know who brought him in, but I hope they actually like him. They wouldn't say anything nice about him at the end of the season. Maybe they were just underplaying their excitement to have such a talent on the team. I don't know. We'll see. I just can't wait to watch him in training camp. We'll see then.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Thanks for coming on, David. Oh, all the way from VA. What's up,
Hey,
man?
how's it going? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I actually want to talk about something I think I never thought I would talk about. Kirk Cousins.
Oh! There's a sexy topic.
As you can see by my name, I'm from Virginia, so all my friends are Washington fans. I know Kirk Cousins from his time here.
Kirk Cousins. Niner fans think they know Kirk Cousins. You know Kirk Cousins.
I know Kirk Cousins.
Let's talk.
And I gotta tell you, I don't want Kirk Cousins, but I'll make the case for him.
Oh, okay.
Ever since he started, and from 2015, he's missed one game.
True.
Okay. He's thrown for less than 4,000 yards one time.
True.
He's never thrown for less than 25 touchdowns, more than like 13 interceptions. And he's what Kyle wants, supposedly, right?
Yes.
If Kyle still wants him.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a win-win. You give it to him, we win the Super Bowl. Great. You give him to him, we lose again. You can fire Kyle whenever you want. Officially.
Sure, at least you give Kyle a quarterback that he's committed to.
Right. You officially,
he's not self-sabotaging.
Exactly.
Hey,
you officially
I'm
give
going to ruin your reputation in the NFC Championship game just because.
Right.
Just because.
Yes. Exactly.
Like
you
he would have never done that to Kirk Cousins. You think he would have called 8 passes if Kirk Cousins would? Hell no.
Right.
Hell
and
no.
Even if you don't fire Kyle, you can say, okay, officially, you can no longer choose a quarterback because we did this, right?
You're cut off.
We did it. You're cut off. If we're going to give you who we want to give you. And it would just, I think it's a win-win situation. Now, I know the cap is whatever, but if they do it post, I think June 1st, I think he's going to save the Vikings some money. They're already over like $9 million. If you do it post June 1st, you don't have to give them any picks this year, which means all offensive line picks. You can have that money by cutting Jimmy. Kyle wants him, restructure his deal, save some money this year, bring in free agents. You could make it work. It's going to be, whatever. No one's going to.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins. Is it the right move? I know you're talking yourself into it. You made the case. It was a hell of a case. But what happens? What happens is Kyle gets fired. That's what happens. Do they win the Super Bowl?
I hate.
No, because all the stuff you said about Kirk Cousins, which is true, all the numbers and all that's great. What has he ever accomplished when it matters?
For sure.
Nothing.
I mean, he's won.
Yeah, the one
he
playoff
won
game, it was very
New
nice.
Orleans, yeah. But
Yep.
I mean, but that's the thing too, though, is like if this is our Super Bowl window, and we have 2 years, let's just say, because we're talking about Bosa, Warner, all these people that need that could get traded. We're
True.
talking about Kyle going into year 6, you know, getting into the contracts. Like, should we keep him? Is this a good idea? I mean, why not kind of go all out? I guess I don't know. I know Kirk Cousins is not all out, but
I think this is the way Kyle thinks and the way most coaches think. If I stick with Jimmy or if I trade for Kirk Cousins, which path gets me fired quicker?
True.
Which is more dangerous?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not necessarily what you want to do. It's what it's self-preservation. You know what I'm saying? I'm making $10 million a year. This is great. I don't want to give this up. Are you kidding? This is the American dream. So you want Kirk Cousins. You want to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's a very controversial move and you put yourself out there. And I feel like now you're on the hot seat immediately. And if that Kirk Cousins has 3 bad games to start, who knows what could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Kyle, I think part of the reason Kyle keeps dragging his feet, not getting rid of Jimmy, is because he's like, you know what? If Jimmy has another bad year, then I'll be on the like. I'm still not going to get fired. Everyone wants me to keep Jimmy, so I'll just do what people want and be like, hey, you told me to. You told me to. Yeah, I just wanted to make you happy, Jed.
Right, for sure. That's true, because then he's never
sense?
wrong. He's never wrong. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one of the things with I don't know. I don't remember if this is right, but I think a long time ago, Joe Staley was like the highest paid offensive player, and he was making so much less because they said we'll never pay someone higher than you.
Right.
I feel like that's the same thing with Kyle. We're never going to get anyone louder than you,
No
so you'll
question.
never lose the room.
No
which
question.
is like, is why I don't know. Are they going to get a Deshaun Watson who has this big voice that's trying to get out? You know, they're not going to do that. Are you going to get a Tom Brady who wants to coach the team? No, we're not going to do that. Same with
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So again, why we come back to Kirk Cousins? Because Kirk Cousins is, hey, whatever you want, Kyle.
Right.
You're the superstar, Kyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, my thing is like, I see those numbers, I see the games played, and I'm just like, that's all I want. I want a 4,000 yard, 30 touchdown.
I know, because you sneeze at it, but it's like the last time the Niners had a quarterback like that I was in elementary school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When all my friends wanted him to stay in Washington, I was like, he's so bad. He's like, he's the best thing we've had in so long.
Do you understand what the
like,
next thing is? Actually, I think Alex Smith is a better quarterback.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of my friends don't, but that's because they.
And that's the thing. Like Kirk Cousins' stats are just a little hollow because Smith doesn't have those stats.
Yeah.
But Smith has like a proven effect on winning that he's demonstrated over a decade. And Kirk Cousins, for all the great things that he does, is freaking 51-2. That's amazing.
Which is
freaking amazing.
Which is crazy.
You know,
but
it's
Washington and Vikings. They're not really good teams in my opinion. But
it's true. It just shows that he's not a transcendent player.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows that. Everyone freaking knows that.
Right. And
I mean, you've seen a lot of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And Kyle supposedly doesn't need that player. So
he just needs a guy who executes his offense because Kyle's offense is the super. Kyle, can you just strap it up and play? We're dying to see you play quarterback. We heard you got a good arm. Hey, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yep. No problem.
That was great, man.
Thanks.
All the way from VA. Julian, are you there? This is I feel like I'm in.
Yo.
What's up? What's poppin',
up,
man? Where you calling from? The Magenta Room?
Nah. It's my girlfriend's grow light.
Hey, what's up?
For plants.
I like it.
I got a couple questions, quick questions for you. What do you see in Kyle Trask? Every time I see him throw the ball, he's just lofting and it has so much air on it. It's like Chad Henne I'm watching.
You know who threw like that? Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck didn't have a whole lot of juice on his throws, but he was very precise and he had touch.
Okay.
But the thing I like about Kyle Trask, comparing him to Mac Jones. Mac Jones and Kyle Trask both have anticipation, right?
Yeah.
They throw it early, and that's cool. But what Kyle Trask has is he's freaking huge. He's big as hell, and he maneuvers the pocket very well. He's got a good internal clock. He gets the ball out quick. There hasn't been a real good pocket passer to come from college in a while. I mean, a guy who can't move, and I think he might be able to do it. I think he's got those skills, but he doesn't have a super strong arm. He's kind of like Matt Ryan. I would compare him to Matt Ryan. Is that even too generous in your opinion? It's a little generous.
Yeah, but I would say Matt Ryan got more zip on the ball.
Fair. Because a lot of the time it's just like this lofted pass to Kyle Pitts that he just makes this amazing catch. But isn't that Mac Jones too?
I don't know, man. I haven't watched Mac Jones like that, but when you referenced Kyle Trask, I went to go take a look at him, and all I saw was Chad Henne. The ball had so much air on it, and I think he had success because he had great offensive players around him.
It's possible. Look, the thing I can't get over with Kyle Trask that bugs me is how bad he played in that final game against Oklahoma. And it's like, well, he didn't have his playmakers. Okay, well, Kellen Mond at Texas A&M never had playmakers. And that didn't happen to him. Like, what the hell was that, Kyle? So, yeah, that scares me about Kyle Trask. I wouldn't take him in round 1, but in round 2, he's interesting, although I prefer Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond, for what you put Kellen Mond at Florida, his numbers would have been crazy, or Ohio State or Alabama. Yeah. Kellen Mond beat Kyle Trask this year anyway.
And do you think if they decide to keep Garoppolo, do you think that causes some friction between John and Kyle because Kyle wants to expand his playbook?
It's possible. I mean, Kyle could always frame it as, okay, if we keep Jimmy, that's on you. You know, I don't want Jimmy. I want to move on. I'd be cool with anyone. Cam Newton, Kirk Cousins, a rookie, Josh Rosen. If we're keeping Jimmy, it's your decision, John. And if he gets hurt again, doesn't work out, it's your ass, John. Like, that could be how it works. I feel like if there's going to be a scapegoat for anything in this organization, it's not going to be Kyle. It's going to be John. That's
going to be the downfall of our team. Somebody needs to check him.
Who, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one's going to do it. When they gave him the 6-year extension and John a 5-year extension, that just gave Kyle more power, right? Because now they're not – I mean, now John's contract comes up first. So Kyle is he's basically the dictator of the 49ers. Not to use a negative term, but whatever he wants to do, he gets to do.
How do you make the same mistake in 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 or 4 years? 5 or 4 years, and
how do you make the same mistake? Because you're not honest with yourself that it was a mistake to begin with. Also, and I've talked about this with people, decision making is an intrinsic trait. It's not really something you improve at. Like, people are good decision makers or they're not, and you know it. You know people in your life. It's like, dude, you could practice. You could dedicate your life to improving. You're just going to make bad decisions. It's because it's who you are. And you know what? There's a lot of great things about you, buddy. But decision-making ain't it. You should not be in a position of leadership. And I just wonder if Kyle is more of the creative, attention to detail type or the overseeing. I don't think he's a good executive decision-maker, man. Some of his decisions is like, no, man.
Because he just rather, instead of talking with the GM, he'd rather talk to his dad. He was like, because, you don't know anything.
Agree.
My dad is the one who taught me all this success or whatever. So
my dad likes CJ Beathard. My dad said Akella Witherspoon's really good.
Yeah.
There's no question about it, man. And imagine being John Lynch, getting hired to be the general manager and knowing that Mike Shanahan in his office in Colorado is actually the guy making that would really bug me.
Yeah.
Bother me. Yeah.
And last question.
Sure.
Do you think there's a chance that we could get what's his name? Kadarius Jones or something like that?
Tony,
yeah.
Right, because you've been watching Kyle Trask and you're like, all right, I like his receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I'm concerned with Debo, the way he plays, and also Kittle, they both play the same way. So do you think
I'll put it this way. If Kadarius Toney is available when the Niners pick in round 2, I don't think Kyle Shanahan could resist drafting him. He can't. Every year in round 2, he takes a wide receiver, right between pick 25 and 45. He takes a wide receiver, and Tony is in the mold. He's exactly like Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, a little bit smaller. He reminds me of like Percy Harvin, straight up. It's the same guy, fast, quick, without the migraines. So I don't know if it's the right pick because how many wide receivers do you need? It's one of the best positions on the team. But Kyle can't resist. He was a wide receiver. He loves wide receivers. And it's the one position they've kind of gotten right the last couple of years. Yeah. So maybe they will.
I feel like that's why they were so like they were punking. What's the guy that they let go? He was supposed to be the kick returner, or he was the best kick returner in college. I forgot his name.
Oh, Pettis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like they were a little too harsh on him.
Yeah. Hey, he went to New York and caught a couple of passes. I don't know about him though, man. I wonder how much he really cares about improving. Kendrick Bourne just stole his career, dude.
I I feel like if they were gonna get a receiver, maybe in the later rounds, you should take a look at TJ Varish.
Never heard of him, but I'll look at him.
Yeah.
I rely on the combine to give me the names, and it's not here this year, and I'm just fish out of water.
TJ Varish, he's 6'4", 215, kind of like Devontae Parker ish.
Okay. Oh, okay. Big and downfield guy makes him.
If they don't know what they're gonna do with Hurd.
All right. Well, I'll look into it, man.
Yeah. Hey, thank you
man.
for having me.
Yeah,
on.
thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, moving on. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
So
Pretty good.
You know, to me, if Trent Williams doesn't go to the 49ers, I think realistically he's probably going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar. For the reason that they have got the most cap space. And if you're going to draft a very, very good quarterback, a generational quarterback, what's the next position you want to make sure that is secure?
But also, there's another reason why he's going to sign with Jacksonville. Tax-free state. Tax-free state. The Niners can't compete. If you want to outbid the Jacksonville Jaguars for Trent Williams, you got to have a deal that's 13% more, because the tax rate in California for the highest, the richest people, that I think is 13%. Yep. So you got to come over the top 13%. That's a lot of money.
Nope.
When you're already at 23 million.
And Trent has already.
And wouldn't Trent Baalke love to just take John Lynch's guy? Oh, you messed up, John. Sorry, man.
Correct.
Keep going. Go ahead.
Correct. No, and Trent Williams has made it very clear that he is about, getting paid. He has done what he needs to do. Look at his stats.
Yes.
And, another piece of that is that I think, honestly, the 49ers may be okay with that, because in their mind, he was supposed to be the missing piece for the Super Bowl run, which never occurred.
Right.
Now, they have a team in their own division, the Rams, who the year after they lost the Super Bowl were not very good.
Right.
And then the following year drafted 2 young offensive linemen and then rebounded.
Yes.
So why couldn't the 49ers say, hey, listen, we're going to draft our offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. They've already proven they can develop them, as we've said before, right? And then all they have to do is execute what they need to be doing. They save that money, and then they've got 2 options.
Hold on, though. Have they shown that they can develop offensive linemen? Let me give you some counterpoints. Mike McGlinchey. 2, Justice School.
So in my mind, they value run blocking and that scheme. And without run blocking, that comes secondary. And Kyle, to a fault, if you're running really well, guess what? The play action will get better.
True.
And guess what? You'll be elevate a very average offensive lineman to a very good offensive lineman.
Same thing his dad was doing in Denver back in the day. Same thing.
Correct.
Waller,
but he had John Elway bailing him out of, some plays.
Yes.
I also think that by doing that, it gives them 2 options. You have said this before, that really, in order to get someone like Deshaun Watson, if they go that route, they gotta give someone that's gonna hurt, and that's Fred Warner. He's the odd man out. He's always gonna be. He's of course,
that would be the one the Niners would be most comfortable parting with. Correct. But it just seems to me, Houston's like, from their perspective, Fred Warner, that's okay, but I want Bosa. I want Kittle. Correct. I mean, maybe I wouldn't go with them because I don't believe in them, their ability to stay healthy, but Houston might, they can.
Bosa's also injured, right? They can say, hey, listen, you want to take on that injury risk? And, $25 million plus, possibly.
We don't really know how the league looks at Bosa right now. They might look at Bosa the way I look at Bosa. Who knows?
All I know is that you're trading an all-pro for an all-pro and a bunch of draft picks. And Houston has to save face, because no matter what happens, they're always going to be dubbed the loser of the deal, because they gave away a generational quarterback.
Yeah, it's
right.
True.
They couldn't make it work.
Right. That's true. But every report is that they're not going to trade him. We'll see if they're serious about that.
Well, again, you believe it as much as you can. I think once we get closer to the combine, scouting, here are the draft picks, and the 49ers do have options. I just can't see them tying up all that money to Trent Williams going 6-10 this year. Do you really elevate the offense that much? Like you said, is it really worth having one stud and 4 below average offensive linemen?
If you're paying a guy more than $20 million a year, he needs to make some of his teammates better. Like I think DeForest Buckner did. I think he does makes the jobs easier for some. Trent Williams doesn't seem to have that effect on anyone. So I just don't think he's worth it. You can get good play, not as good play, but good play for much cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure.
You have a good night. Yep. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Tommy Huxley. Tommy.
What's up? What's up, Grant?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? Oh,
not bad.
Where you calling from?
San Ramon.
Oh, nice.
I grew up here.
That's what's up. That's cool. All right, so what's on your mind today?
How can we make this run game better? Every time without Kittle, our run game goes to hell.
True. That is true.
I mean, we shouldn't have to depend on him because he doesn't play every game.
Well, the problem is Ross Dwelly is a good player, but he's like a wide receiver who bulked up and learned how to block and gives a good effort. But that's not his game. He's got great hands. He's a good route runner. Kittle is the amazing blocker. They tried to draft another one last year from Georgia, and he might have been a bust because he made no impact. So they want to have a blocking tight end who can fill in for Kittle. They just don't have one. I guess it's need. That's a good point. I guess it's free unless this guy improves.
Yeah. I mean, are we really going to
make Mike McGlinchey the blocking tight end?
Are we really going to replace a rookie in the left tackle position?
What do you mean? Move out Trent Williams and bring in a rookie?
Yeah.
What would you rather do? Trent Williams?
I'd like to re-sign him. I mean, but I don't know how much how much can we afford, really?
I think what they're going to do, if I had to predict, is they're going to move Daniel Brunskill to left tackle and sign like Alex Mack at center and maybe another guard and try to revamp other positions. But I don't know. I mean,
I don't think
on Slater.
Yeah, I would draft him too.
Yep.
I just don't think Brunskill. I think he's a good backup.
Here's a deep conspiracy theory just popped in my head. Do the Niners really want to set up Jimmy Garoppolo for success? Do they really care if they protect him? Do they really care? If he went out there and struggled behind bad pass protection, got himself benched, would they care, or would it be like, great, now we can move on? Or would Kyle feel that way?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know. Is it really a priority? Because it doesn't really seem like it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd like them to go tackle with the first pick, the 12th pick, or trade back. But I just have a feeling they're going to go edge with 12th pick.
Right, because that's what they do every year. Why would they not? They make it real clear. Yeah. Kyle already told me what he's going to do. Yeah, he would go. He said it last year. I would take a defensive lineman every year if I could. Okay. Well,
I mean,
I'm ready for it.
If they were going to do it, I'd go Azeez Ojulari because he'd be a direct replacement for D Ford because he's a speed rusher, but he's not as good. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I just feel like the Niners are always going to have a quarterback problem until they fix their offensive line. They're always going to think it's a quarterback problem when really it's more of an offensive line problem. Maybe even Jimmy could be decent. I think the Patriots look at Jimmy like, you put him on our team with a much better offensive line, a quicker passing game, we can keep him in one piece. We can keep him healthy. But I don't know. They used to say football is war in the trenches. Maybe they don't feel that way anymore. I don't know. Tommy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I think, I think the Seahawks are going to be in last place next year. I'm making a prediction.
Think they'll trade Russell Wilson and start over?
Maybe, but
even with Russell Wilson, they're in last place in your opinion.
What's that?
Even with Russell Wilson, they're in last place in your opinion.
Yeah, because their defense isn't that good. Their offensive line is worse than ours.
That is true. That is true. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. And see you next time. Okay. I'm going to get you 49ers fan, but I want to get a couple people who've never been on the show first. Bear with me, and then I'll get to you. So, Viet, you're first. Hey, you're next. What's up, man?
Up? How are you, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'll bet my hair's going crazy right now.
That's all right. Looks good. I didn't know.
Oh, man, I got a bunch of things to talk about, but why don't we go, what is it? In my philosophy, should we go corner? Because if we're drafting another edge rusher, aren't we repeating the same philosophy that didn't work?
I think they have a good defensive line. Even without D Ford, they have a really good D line, and they have an excellent defensive line coach who can develop late round picks, undrafted.
They're developing guys from the 5th round every year.
Yeah, I don't think they need to do that. You know, they could probably get a guy in the 3rd round and coach him up.
Yeah, and thanks for letting me skip ahead a little bit. Other question, I guess, would be like in terms of quarterback. I mean, I know we don't need a quarterback, and I always say that I'd rather have a good team than a great quarterback. But if we look at the last 20 Super Bowls, how many of them have sort of above average or outstanding quarterback? I mean, Jimmy, I think he's okay, and I think he can be very good at times.
But is he good enough?
Yeah, is he? And that's isn't that just Kaepernick and Alex Smith over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's good enough. Probably not. Especially
I don't think he's good.
If he was making nothing and you had like an all-star team around him, well, he was kind of like that 2 years ago. But yeah, probably not. I think the only way you win with a mediocre quarterback like Nick Foles is if he's cheap.
Yeah.
If he's extremely cheap and just gets hot for a month and you have like great team around him and a great coach, but that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable.
No, I don't.
It's not. Because any quarterback who wins a Super Bowl isn't cheap afterward. Nick Foles been making a lot of money since then. He's still making money because of that game 3 years ago or whatever it was.
I mean, how many of those teams actually won with sort of subpar quarterback Guilford? Flacco, and even Flacco that year, he was playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and it's a one-off. Like, they never came close to doing it again. It was basically a fluke, caught lightning in a bottle, right time, right place, but you can't do it twice.
Yeah, and Foles hasn't done anything in Chicago.
Oh, my God. And that contract that he got just kills teams. As soon as he went to Jacksonville, they were done. And when he went to Chicago, it's like, you don't want that.
Yeah.
He's the worst contract in the league right now.
All right, cool. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Was strong. Ethan, what is up?
What's up, Grant?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm in quarantine right now, man.
You're in quarantine. Are you in like solitary confinement?
Yeah, because I play baseball at Fordham, but we got a contact traced or something.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah, our season.
I'm sorry to hear that. How you feeling? Are you all right though?
Yeah, I'm fine. I feel good.
That's cool. That's all right.
But
Are you on the East Coast right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually from Seattle, but big Niners fan.
What position you play?
Outfield.
Center?
Right.
Oh, I played center I was a JV center field. I was pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, so what's on your mind?
All right. So this is my strategy. I think that they should do for the offseason, or at least the draft.
Okay.
I think they need to trade back twice in the first round.
I always love trading back twice. How would you do it? Would you go like incrementally?
Yeah.
Couple places?
Maybe say Trey Lance is available and Washington doesn't get Deshaun. Maybe they want him, or New England even too.
Give me something. Move
and
down.
Then maybe go a little back. I wouldn't touch Trey Lance. He's played like 5 games.
What?
He's played like 5 games in college.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Trey Lance either. I mean, I think the biggest thing he has going for him is that he's played so little. There's like no bad tape on it. Hey, look at this. He didn't play last year.
And he's so athletic, but I don't know about his throwing. I mean, that's what you want from a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a hell of a runner.
Yeah.
Such a good runner. But yeah, trade back twice. If Mac Jones or Justin Fields or Trey Lance is there and some other team wants him, great.
Yeah.
Don't take him. Yeah.
Let them overpay.
Yeah, let them overpay because they're desperate for a quarterback. There's no way those. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's smart. Yes, I think the Niners need to get as many first round picks in this draft as possible because they need to reload. Their team is kind of top heavy right now. They got the 5 or 6 players making money, and the rest of the team is falling apart.
I think the first thing they got to do is build the O-line.
Got to.
Like when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, they had the highest paid O-line. That's what they had. Russell was making like $500,000.
A hell of an offensive line can go very, very far. It can make mediocre quarterbacks look good. Yes. Yes.
I like Elijah Vera Tucker.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Tell me about him. USC.
Yes.
He can play tackle or guard. So if McGlinchey, I think we play him as guard because Kyle's in love with McGlinchey for some reason.
So you draft Elijah Vera Tucker, start him at right guard, and if something happens with McGlinchey, move him over to right tackle.
Yeah.
Trade down a couple of spots for Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, and then maybe like you got to get. I think you need to get a corner too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I think in the modern NFL, like any good defense has 3 good corners. If you don't have 3 good corners, you're not even really. What are you gonna do? Just play zone all day.
I actually think Sherman gone is gonna make these guys better.
Agree. Yeah, I think we saw it last year when he was hurt.
A liability.
He was a liability. He couldn't play man coverage. Everyone else got roasted in zone because that's all he could play.
He couldn't tackle either. Like that's what people praise his tackling ability. He just didn't tackle last year.
Yeah, I think he was making business decisions because he knew he was going to be a free agent and the Niners weren't committed to him. Also, he would play so far off the cornerback, the wide receiver, even if it was like 3rd and 8, he'd be 16 yards off the guy.
Yeah.
Don't beat me deep. Yeah.
Also,
all right, well, I'm going to check out some
You got me into Trask too, though. I will say that.
You like Trask?
Yeah.
See, if you watch the tape, you can
I watched.
see.
I was like, you were talking about him so much. Then I watched the Bama game when they played, and I was like, this guy balls.
He does. Like he went toe to toe with. No, who else did that this year? No one. No one. He actually competed. Like Kellen Mond had lost. Like,
I would have liked Kellen Mond too, though.
You like him?
Yeah, in the 4th round, late 3rd.
Yeah, I like him too. He's one of the rare mid-round quarterback prospects who's got a chance. I think got a chance.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, Grant.
Thanks for coming on, man. Good luck with playing right field, man. You must have a cannon.
Thank you.
All right, man. Peace. I wish I played right field. Chardol. Hey, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. There you go. What is up? Oh man, I still can't hear you. Figure it out. Figure it out. Take your time. Figure it out. Oh man. All right, here. Try calling back in. Maybe it's just a connection thing. Try calling back in. I hate that. Chardol is a MVP of the show. Everyone knows Chardol. All right. Jared Thomas, you're going to slide in Chardol's spot. What's up, Jared?
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm good. So, yeah, I have an interesting strategy as far as what the Niners should do.
Okay, let's do it.
So, I think their main issue is receiver.
What do you mean?
Because, like, they obviously have Kittle as a tight end, but their receivers are kind of thin right now. Because I don't really think they have an established number 2 outside of Deebo Samuel.
You don't like Brandon Ayuk?
He's a rookie, though. I don't know how good he'll be.
Okay. All right. So what would you do?
They need to go out and get a veteran receiver, another veteran receiver.
Who would you get?
Well, I don't know. See, I was thinking maybe you trade for Odell.
I got a name for you, but who are you going to say?
I was thinking maybe you could trade for either Odell or Julio. And like maybe restructure a contract, see if they take a little bit of a pay cut, maybe. Okay.
That's expensive though, man. That's real expensive. It's possible. Hold on. Let me throw another alternative at you. How about now he's under contract, he'd have to get cut. But what about Emmanuel Sanders?
Wait, didn't they just had him, right?
Yeah, but there's $60 million over the cap. He's 34. And if they cut him, they save $4 million. If they end up cutting him, would you want to bring Emmanuel Sanders back on a reasonable priced deal?
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it made sense for him at the time they had him.
Yeah. I mean, a top 3 of him, Ayuk, and Deebo seems really good. You already know Sanders and Garoppolo have chemistry. I mean, that's the thing, that they got rid of Sanders. Garoppolo liked throwing to him. Garoppolo's numbers were better with him on the field than without. You go back to the 2019 season. Garoppolo was struggling early on. He was winning, but his numbers were not good. And then they get Emmanuel Sanders like week 7, and all of a sudden his quarterback rating's like 110. So I think that would be an interesting. I think that would be the way I would go. Emmanuel Sanders, if you could bring him back, it works.
So yeah, there's also been a lot of talk in the chat about the whole thing with Trent Williams and how much you're trying to pay him.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure how much he would command, though, is the thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just literally don't know how much he want.
I think he's thinking even though he's 32, a little bit past his prime, quote unquote, he said a franchise left tackle has never made it all the way to free agency. I think he's thinking there's going to be a bidding war and 2 or 3 or 4 teams are going to want him, and he's going to get – I think he's going to become the highest paid offensive lineman in the league, the highest paid offensive lineman of all time. And then someone eventually will beat his record in a year or two. But I think that's what he's going to get. He's going to get freaking money.
Yeah, I was thinking, though, they still have McGlinchey, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Is he a tackle or is he a guard?
He's a tackle, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually – that Williams and McGlinchey tackle dynamic was physical, though. Like, especially a couple years ago when they made the Super Bowl. Like, those two guys were, like, maulers. Yeah,
but when they were in the Super Bowl, it was Joe Staley out there. Williams only been here 1 year.
I thought he retired.
Oh, man, but when they were in the Super Bowl, it was Staley. We got to get Staley back, man. We got to write Staley a letter, tell him to come back. That would fix everything. Although I bet he weighs like 220 right now.
Right.
But he lost a lot of weight.
You think Joe Staley was a Hall of Famer?
That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know.
Probably not.
My initial thought was, because I'm a Niners fan, I would put him in just because I remember where we were, like, before he got there. Like, our offensive lines were god-awful.
Yeah.
And he was the first guy, basically, that we drafted to where the offensive line finally started being decent.
He should definitely be in the franchise Hall of Fame. But, I mean, there's, like, Tony Baselli. There's some really great left tackles who still aren't in or had to wait a long time. He probably won't make it. But maybe he should. I'll think about it, man. I got to take some more callers, though. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you too.
All right, have a good one, man. Jeff, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, what's going on, Grant? Good time.
How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, man. So topic of your video here was interesting as far as what to do at left tackle. Really, when I think about that question, it makes me think about, do you want to keep Trent Williams or Jimmy G? Because I think that's the actual question in mind.
Yeah.
Being obviously Trent Williams' big cap hit that could come to a new contract, and obviously Jimmy's big cap hit that could come to a new contract. And man, I'm trying to figure out how to solve this problem here. And the Niners don't have very many options available to them, and that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I think they're in a situation where you're just going to have to pay the man as far as Trent Williams is concerned. And that's honestly what I would do. I think that as far as getting somebody that's as productive as Jimmy Garoppolo is much easier to find than getting somebody as productive as Trent Williams. I mean, we could talk about his leadership or whatever other problems he may have, what he lacks, but what he is a very, very excellent left tackle that has been healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And at least you know that you're getting that, whereas you're paying Jimmy $27 million a year and he's sitting on your bench. So as far as a value proposition, I think the bigger value comes from keeping your left tackle.
Yes, Trent Williams is a much better player than Jimmy Garoppolo. And since Trent Williams isn't a quarterback, he's cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo. If you let Trent Williams go just to keep – I mean, if the choice is Jimmy or Trent, I'm taking Trent all freaking day. And if they let Trent Williams go just so they can keep Jimmy G, it's kind of like what they did last year with DeForest Buckner. I mean, how many players who are better than Jimmy Garoppolo have to leave this team so the Niners can continue to pay Jimmy Garoppolo too much money?
Exactly. So – I mean, I'm just looking at their different options that are available. I've seen some of your other shows with some of the commentators that you guys have. I mean, Orlando Brown is a guy that's brought up in trade, and that he could be a great option. I like Orlando Brown. However, he puts you right back in the same situation that you're in this year because he's in the last year of his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in a position where you're going to trade draft capital, acquire this player, and then now you're going to try to have to re-sign him again. Same situation you're in with Trent Williams now.
So it's a non-starter right there. You can't do that.
It really is to me. I mean, it'd be great to have him, but what was it, like three something $3 million a year, 3.4 mil. He'll get paid next year. That's a wonderful savings, but it's really a 1-year rental that you're getting out of Orlando Brown.
Another 1-year rental, like you're just doing it over again.
Yeah, you're kind of getting stuck in this cycle of doing that.
Yeah.
And the other options,
Daniel Brunskill out there, which we talked about, which is not the most exciting thing.
No, and it's also very concerning because Brunskill, I think, is one of the guys that really provides your offensive line depth.
Yes.
And it's been proven that we need depth on this team. Another option, Villanueva. People talk about him. Kind of a veteran dude, older guy. But he's probably going to get paid in the area of $15 million a year.
Yes.
So how much money are you really saving? I mean, you could have Trent Williams, pay him, I don't know, could you get him for 20? What do you think,
Maybe.
Grant? Could you get Trent for $20 million a year in a COVID market?
Well, as I was talking about with a previous caller, say the Jacksonville Jaguars offer 20. The Niners have to offer 13% more because of taxes out here. So I don't think the Niners are going to get him for 20. I think a lot of teams would be willing to offer him that. And if a tax-free state offers him that, the Niners are in trouble.
They are.
They're in trouble.
They are.
For them to bring him back, they're going to have to give him, I think, $24 million a year. Now, that's average. The way that they structure it, you give him a signing bonus. It's cheap at first, and then it's more expensive later. It can be. But how many backloaded contracts can you have on one team?
Too many.
Armstead.
Too many. And look at Armstead. Yeah. The name immediately that popped into my head is Armstead. You know, they wanted to go all in and keep him. They think he's a part of the future, this and that. And now they're in this ridiculous backloaded contract where in 2022 they're going to have to pay him $20 million. That's going to be a problem. Right. So, I mean, I'm just trying to look at these different scenarios, and I even wrote them out here on my little scratch pad.
Nice.
But, this is legit. It's a professional setup here, Grant. I'm trying to.
I don't know if you're reading the comments, but everyone's like, Jeff for GM. So you're doing a great job so far.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad I can throw my name in the hat.
Side. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm the people's GM, right? But so you're looking at either keeping Jimmy and having Brunskill at your left tackle, or keeping Trent and having a rookie quarterback, because that's the only way that you're possibly going to be able to structure the salary cap on your roster and be able to make it work at the end of the day. I mean, 1 + 1 = 2.
The drop off from Trent to Brunskill. God love Daniel Brunskill. Nothing against Daniel. I like.
No.
Think of the drop off there, and now think of the drop off from Jimmy Garoppolo to Andy Dalton. Is there one? Is there one?
Right. And think about this, though. How well do you think that Jimmy G is going to do with Brunskill at left tackle and Mike McGlinchey at right? That's a bad situation. That is a scary situation. That's pretty much writing off your season. What, you want a top 10 pick next year? Is that what we're doing?
And that's like a covert way of just straight up tanking.
It really
tank. Do that. Put Jimmy Garoppolo behind the worst pass protection you can imagine because he ain't moving.
Right. And speaking of GMs, I mean, I'm looking at all these problems because, I mean, we're just talking about Jimmy G and left tackle. Really, I mean, and I love John Lynch. I think he's a great guy. I love Kyle, this and that. I think they brought stuff to the Niners that other coaches have lacked for a very long time since Harbaugh. But, I mean, really, let's just call it what it is. This is a byproduct of very irresponsible drafting. The fact that you didn't take a corner last year is insane. And it's a huge hole on your team.
Yeah, with everyone scheduled to be a free agent, and you were like, you know what, we just can't do it.
Right. And now you got, free agents going out the door. And obviously, who could have predicted the whole COVID cap thing? So I can't hold that against them too bad. But the fact that you don't have any depth at corner is purely based on just not taking them. And the fact that you don't have any other quarterbacks in the pipeline is purely based on never taking a quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, you can't have the only guy you take. And when did we take Beathard, third or fourth round or whatever? That's the only guy, really?
4 years ago. Yeah.
4 years ago. Yeah. It was the last time that you were confident enough to take a shot on a quarterback.
That's right.
So that's kind of the bigger issue. And I hope that it's something that they can kind of have a self-realization about as far as the types of positions you need to draft every year.
Yes.
As far as getting corners in the building, because that's a high premium position, getting offensive line talent in the building every year. That's a premium position with a lot of turnover.
If they lose Trent Williams to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, that's going to be scandalous. They may not realize it, but Niner fans are going to be pissed. They're going to know. They're going to say, hey, we just couldn't afford Trent Williams. Yeah, because of Jimmy. They're going to understand.
Right. And and the other problem is that they're having here is that, there's maybe originally a thought that, we could keep both of them. But you're not. But unfortunately, D Ford's going to be on your team next year. He ain't playing, but he's on your team, and that's going to account for a large portion of your cap as well. So you guys, Niners, are really up against the wall.
He can pass a physical, right? And that's going to happen, like when I can run a 4.3 40-yard dash. That's when that's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, me too. And we'll all hold our breath while we do it. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So anyways, man, it's an interesting topic because I just don't see them really having very many options to begin with. As far as really any of these positions, I mean, we'd love to be able to take a left tackle, trade up for a guy, but I mean, Now we're talking about more draft capital, and the only way that we're going to be able to fill in these holes in the roster is being able to fill it with cheap rookie talent. It's the only way it's going to happen.
Last alternative. What about Rashawn Slater, 12?
Ooh, that's interesting. I like it. I don't hate it. The problem is what are you doing at quarterback? What are you doing at corner? What's happening with all these other positions? You know, you only have one first round pick this year, and so there's a lot of different ways you could go, which is great. I'm always a proponent of adding, young talent like that at the position, but and it could do really well for the team. But unfortunately, there's just so many holes, and I think it's what you did last year that's affecting you this year.
Yeah,
and the fact that last year
it's just one of
it's really. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it's proving to be very much a problem that they undervalued that position so deeply.
Yeah, it's like they're in the cutting edge offensively in the league, but defensively, their defensive philosophies are like stuck 25 years ago. Like you build through the D line. No, every offense is spread out with 3-4 wide receivers on the field. Who's covering them? You need 3 corners who are good, not 1, not 2, 3, and you got like freaking. Jamal,
you got no one signed.
Kello with you. No one signed.
No one signed. That's the problem. Is you have literally. I mean, how could you not see this coming? The clock was going to strike midnight. You turned into a pumpkin, dude. And
last year, someone asked John Lynch. It was Cam Inman asked him in like the post draft thing. Like, you drafted no corners. You have no corners signed next year. What's the plan there? And John was like, "Oh, we have a plan. Don't worry. I understand. We got a plan." Which is what?
We're waiting.
I mean,
we're still waiting on that plan here because you know that you have all these guys that are about to walk out the door. I mean, even COVID or no COVID or not, these guys are still, their contracts are going to expire. They're going to be free agents and they're going to want to test the market. That's what every player wants to do, is make as much money as for themselves during their active playing years as they can. You can't blame the guys for that.
That's what
that's going to happen. Yeah. So the fact that you didn't do anything to restock the cupboards was very concerning. So now you're in a position where, you need 2 corners, a nickel. You need at least minimum 2 positions on the offensive line. I'd say center and right guard at a minimum. And plus now we got the left tackle because we weren't able to keep Trent.
Right.
And there's a good chance we lose him.
Quarterback, they need that because they have 4 years and the starter gets hurt every 3 weeks.
I don't know much about football, but I heard the quarterback touches the ball a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
Now it's becoming slowly a quarterback-driven game.
Slowly. Yeah. So it really puts them in a situation where they're going to have to take a chance and unfortunately, I think that they're in a position where they're going to have to take a guy at 12 at quarterback. That's really what I'm thinking. And then it's not my favorite. I personally don't like that. I don't see anybody valued really at that position. I talked to you last time about Mac Jones, this and that, because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, but it might just be the situation that they're going to be in, unfortunately, where if you want to keep Trent and you want to re-sign Jason Verrett and you want to bring back Cohn Williams, you want to bring all these guys back, you're going to have to find a way to make the money work one way or another. And it's going to be getting a guy in a cheap rookie deal. And I know that taking him at 12 is just beyond rich. I don't think he's a first round pick. Honestly, I think I've kind of put him with Kyle Trask in the second round.
Agreed.
But the fact is, you got a lot of teams. You got the Patriots, you got Washington. They're all looking for a quarterback as well. All these teams need a guy who can play. And waiting on this guy in the second round, you're probably going to miss him. So it's a huge gamble to try to wait on that position as well. So it'll be I need to find out. Yeah, dude, call me up, bro. I got you handled. It's on point. Don't worry about it.
Man,
just
easy
a pounded gel
for call of the day so far. You're just killing it, man.
Hey, man, I try, man. I wait till you guys are going a little bit. I write down some notes and I try to come in swinging, bro.
Oh, you did not come in with a bunt. This was knocked out of the park, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, dude. Thanks for taking me.
Of course, man. Have a good one. Shardall.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I like
Absolutely, man. What's going on?
Happy you can hear me.
Oh, I'm so happy I can hear you too, dude.
Yeah. My first question is, do you think Mason Rudolph good
Hell no.
for the injured Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh no, no, absolutely not. Mason Rudolph is one of the worst quarterbacks. He's soft. That guy is soft, and in the sense that he can't operate with bodies around him. Also, he seemed like he has a weird personality. No, absolutely not. But no, good question.
Should the 49ers release D Ford?
Yes, but it's complicated. I'll explain it real quick for you and people who don't understand, because I don't even really understand that well, or I just figured it out. What happened is you can't cut a guy until he can pass a physical, apparently. So he can't pass. He's still hurt. So they can't cut him. And if he's still on the roster on April 1st, which he will be because they can't pass a physical, he gets like $11 million. Is some bonus in his contract. So the Niners are in a tough spot. He's not going anywhere soon. Tough one. Sorry. But good question on the D Ford thing.
Yeah.
I did that Mason Rudolph question killed me, man. That was so good. Thank you for asking that. I hadn't considered him. All I know is I saw him in person when he played the Niners 2 seasons ago at Levi's. And I just can't. The Niners turned the ball over, I want to say 5 times on offense. And even though they were trying to lose the game, it seemed, you could tell early on that Mason Rudolph was going to do nothing about it and going to lose, and he did. And I think I'll never forgive him for that. I don't know. When you see someone in person be that bad, it sticks with you. So that's where I'm coming from with Mason. But we'll see. I don't know. You like Mason? Am I being too hard on Mason?
I haven't seen him play before. I haven't seen the guy play, so I don't really know how good he plays.
Check out his YouTube highlights. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I think next time.
All right. Next time we talk, and we talk all the time.
I'll let you know what I think about the video on YouTube.
All right, baby. Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
The show. It's always nice coming on.
Oh, it's always nice having you, man.
Yeah.
Pleasure. All
Bye,
right,
Grant.
Take care. I love that guy. Such a nice guy. I think that's it. I think that's all we got. We got Matt, who's afraid to show his face. Let me see if Matt's there. Matt, you there?
Hey, Grant, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
I know I like to keep it a mystery. I apologize.
It's all good. All right, what are we talking about?
Hey, so I've been hearing you talk about Brunskill a little bit today as like a possible replacement at left guard. So my main counter argument to that, like right away, is, dude, all we did last year is rip Mike for his weight issues. Doesn't Brunskill also have a similar problem? Like, he's very undersized for an NFL offensive lineman. I mean, he plays at about like 270-ish, right?
I think he does, actually. They used to list him at 270.
Gotcha.
But let's see where they list him now. They list him at 300 pounds. 6'5", 300 pounds. He was a tight end at San Diego State, I believe.
Gotcha.
But he's 27 now. He's a lot bigger. Honestly, when I see him, he looks like he's bigger than Mike McGlinchey. He looks like a legit 300, whereas Mike McGlinchey admitted he was below 290.
Oh, so I mean, yeah, you actually have seen and met the guy. I mean, do you think, like, you know, he has the size to play left tackle?
Yes, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's the same size as Joe Staley. And the thing about him, he doesn't have Staley's talent. Staley's one of the most talented left tackles of his generation, but they have like the same personality. Maybe Brunskill's a little more serious, but they're both really smart, really, really smart verbal guys, go-to guys after the game. I think there's a lot of similarities between Daniel Brunskill and Joe Staley.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, I think if Trent's not there, I don't think we should make the mistake again on passing up on a Big Ten tackle like we did with Tristan Wirfs. If that Slater guy's there, I think we should go get him. And I think if Trent's gone, it's going to force our hand to have to go get a left tackle.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Trent leaves, everyone knows the Niners are going to have to draft a left tackle with the 12th pick. It might be tough. Maybe that's why maybe they'll start floating the idea of Daniel Brunskill doing it, just so people think they're not desperate, even though they are.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if Trent leaves, like, I know this makes way too much sense, but if we got the left tackle Slater at 12, we took a corner in round 2, and then we took Kellen Mond in round 3, or maybe your boy Kyle Trask. Like, it makes too much sense, but
I like that. I'm sold with that. I like that.
Like, we're filling like 3 needs right there. It would be great. And I mean, I've heard there's like a lot of guys that are going to be solid second round value type corners that we can get that maybe are not as big and physical as like JC Horn, but like one I've heard about is like Tyson Campbell. A lot of people have him in that like 35 to 45 range. He's like a big 6'2" corner from Georgia. So like a guy like that. And then, the other thing I thought was really interesting is the fact that Lynch kind of made it pretty clear on that interview that he did where he talked about Jimmy was coming back, whether you believe that or not, is that he pretty much said we need to upgrade our backup QB room, which, I mean, above anything, I am happy to know that he's like, yes, time to get rid of Nick Mullins and time to get rid of CJ. So I am a little bit happy he was kind of very upfront about that. So hopefully we go after a guy like Mond or Trask in the second or third. So
yeah, and it even sounds like they might even bring in a veteran like Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think whoever started that rumor, they're interested in Andy Dalton. I thought maybe you leaked that one because I know you've been pounding the table for about 6 months on Andy Dalton, man. You've been talking about
maybe the rumor started because someone watched my YouTube channel and thought I was on the team. It's not. I just think it's a good idea. Maybe the Niners watched it and are like, you know what? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. I was thinking you kind of leaked that one on the Andy Dalton thing.
I wish I had that kind of pull and power.
Yeah,
maybe I do.
Maybe you do. Anyways, that was just my thoughts on the Brunskill thing and what could happen in the draft if Trent's gone. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. All right, last caller.
Hey,
Mr. Myers.
what's up, Grant?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Who is that? I haven't. Is that Surtain behind you? No, Sanders.
Neon Dion.
Oh,
that's an FSU. Yeah. I go to FSU. My parents went here. Niners, so you gotta have a little bit of crossover.
Are you in Tallahassee right now?
Yeah, I am.
Nice. All right. That's
Yeah. So I was born in Pacifica, and then moved to South Florida when I was young. But yeah. So
do you know Nick Newman at all? He's a writer on all. I think he's from Pacifica.
I've heard the name. I don't know him though.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah. But no, I was just looking over some of our recent draft history last night. I'm starting to get the feeling, even though I was on here yesterday talking all about Justin Fields, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they might not take a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. And that would be crazy, I think. But
when they talk about bringing in a veteran backup, it's like, well, you're not gonna bring in a young guy, are you? You're gonna wait.
I don't know. I'm either thinking those are complete smoke screens and they're gonna draft somebody, or it's the other way around. It's so hard to tell this time of the year. But I I was just looking over the recent draft history because something I wanted to think about going forward with the Niners was if we can look at them like we look at teams like the Steelers who draft wide receivers really well, right? Or the Colts who have drafted offensive linemen really well recently, stuff like that. Yes. What do you think would be the Niners' prime position that they have to take a guy within the first 3 or 4 rounds at this position because they're so good at drafting it? Because when I look over all the John Lynch drafts recently and the Shanahan drafts, I think they're going to take a wide receiver in the first.
Yeah, I was going to say wide receiver. Ever since they got the Dante Pettis pick out of their system, they've been pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So if they take another wide receiver in round 2, okay. I still think if they could get Emmanuel Sanders, that would make sense because Jimmy likes him. Jimmy trusts him. And bringing another rookie wide receiver may not necessarily, Jimmy would just throw to Emmanuel Sanders with no conscience. Like, you're going to be open. I trust you. He doesn't seem to do that with the other ones.
And I think there's something to be said about how much of an impact Emmanuel Sanders made in the leadership department. I mean, he was a huge leader. I mean, just not of the wide receivers room, but the offense in general.
Male of the offense. There's no question about it.
So I always thought he would be really great to come back, if not for the playing reasons, for the off the field reasons, because I feel like he could help our team so much in that way. But I mean, what do you think? What are just some other positions that you feel like the Niners are saying to themselves, we're really good at drafting here. We know how to draft this spot. We should take these type of guys every so often.
They seem to do. I don't know if they're good at drafting, but they're good at developing tight ends. That John Embry is every bit as good of a position coach as Bobby Turner, the running back guy. So tight end's another one. They don't necessarily need to take a guy first round. They could get a guy Look what they did with Ross Dwelly. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
George Kittle, remarkable.
Yeah.
And then
So,
linebacker as well. Linebacker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, those were just some thoughts I had. And then also
offensive line. I don't think. Oh, but it is D-line. Hold on. That Chris Kosar does a terrific job. Look what he did with Jordan Willis, Deion Jordan, Kevin Givens, D-line too.
Well, and that's the thing. If I'm trying to design the Niners draft, I want us to take an interior defensive lineman, but not until like round 5, because it seems like every time they take a guy in round 4, 5, or 6 in the interior, they either hit on them or that's where
they got DJ Jones.
Their hit rate is probably better there than in the first round for defensive linemen. I mean, so yeah. So and then also I wanted to ask you about one more thing I saw that was going around. I think Matt Mayoko might have put it out there that the Niners would have taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the 31st pick had they not gone up and traded for Ayuk. What do you think about that? Because either I'm thinking it's just this time of the year, and hopefully the Niners are trying to lie their you-know-what's off. And
I believe it, man. This is a team that wanted to sign Le'Veon Bell, that did sign Jerick McKinnon, that did sign Tevin Coleman. Yeah, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted Najee Harris in round 1 or some running back in round 2. I wouldn't be surprised. They'll say, you know what? Our running backs were all hurt last year. Yada, yada, yada. It's like, okay. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's probable. Kyle Shanahan has shown he wants a big investment at running back on the team. He's had one every year. He's made one every year. So who's it going to be next? Najee.
God, man, I really hope that doesn't happen. That would just that's a way to absolutely piss away your draft value.
Yes, because no matter how good the running back is, and I like Najee Harris, most likely they get hurt.
Yeah, and it's
Saquon Barkley.
And even if you sign them to a second contract, like that's worst case scenario is that you get in a position where the guy is so good and he's so good early and he's healthy enough to where you're like, well, crap, we have to sign him back and have to sign back for at least like $12 million a year. And that's when you screw yourself over to me because, I think like you said, you can just literally get undrafted guys, 6th round guys, 7th round guys. I mean, they've taken late round guys like Matt Breida was a late round guy, right? I mean,
So he was undrafted.
Undrafted.
Every time they sign an undrafted free agent running back, they hit. They like just keep doing it. Just keep doing it, Kyle.
So
come on.
I didn't get that, man. That report was
I hope that's not true.
I think I'm crossing my fingers that's like the smoke screen. The
smoke screen of all smoke screens.
Oh yeah, they're like, we're gonna throw everyone off our trail. We weren't gonna take Brandon Ayuk.
Everyone's gonna think we're gonna take a running back, and we're actually gonna take a
we're definitely.
You got us.
Oh man, so I thought that was really
that is very interesting.
That was
very interesting.
And I know you've brought it up before. I mean, they wanted Le'Veon Bell. It's not like Kyle's afraid to go all in on the running back position. So I would be super disappointed with that. And
super disappointed is Kyle. If you're watching, don't. No one wants it. No one wants it. No one wants it. Only you.
Yeah. So, anyways,
it's the urge.
I just wanted to say really quick, also, just some more Justin Field thoughts, just for 30 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
I know I ended on him today. I watched a little more with him, and I really understand your criticisms. Maybe not a lot more, but I get where you're going at with him. How at times it feels like he's a half second late or a quarter second late to those progressions, where he should really just be hitting them in a stride. So I think that's the issue with him. But I think, like I talked about yesterday, I feel like that's one of the more fixable issues out of all the guys in the draft, at least that are going to be available to you. So,
you could definitely develop them. It's just like when I look at Jimmy, what is Kyle's problem with Jimmy? He's indecisive.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where to go with the ball quick enough, consistently enough. Like that's his main issue with Jimmy. It's not that he's not mobile. He can't care less that he's not mobile. It's just like know where to go with the ball. Like you should read the defense and my play works and this guy's open and get him there on time. And that's like, he doesn't execute consistently enough. And it's like, if that's his, like, a lot of people don't have the coach's tape. So it's hard to tell whether a quarterback is executing correctly you can't tell unless you have the coach's tape. And all I'm saying is when I see him, like, okay, well, this guy ain't executing. This guy is basically, performing despite his lack of. It's Ohio State, dude.
Yeah, and I think
State.
that's the tough thing. It's really tough to judge him, and I feel like that's really the thing with all the quarterbacks in this draft. All of them have their own issues, and they're all kind of an enigma in their own way because
it's such a hard position to scout. Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
so hard.
But what do you think? You know, because you've been talking about how Kyle loves the execution, how he might not take Justin Fields for that reason. What do you think? Like, is there a type of guy he's going to fall in love with in this draft, or do you think he's going to just ultimately be like, there's no one quite Kirk Cousins like? Even
it's
though
possible, yeah. He can just be like, you know what, our developmental guy is Josh Rosen. Let's sign a veteran backup and not draft a quarterback because as we, just be like, we have Rosen. We are committed to Rosen. That's our guy that we're developing. They could do that. I think that's actually a legit point because anyone they take at 12, like, is Mac Jones, does he have the upside of Josh Rosen? I don't know. No. I mean, Josh Rosen Mac Jones has other things, but physically he doesn't have much. What Kyle would like about Mac Jones is that he really does execute. When you watch him, he doesn't miss a lot of open receivers. He gets the ball out on time. Yeah. That being said, when there's bodies around him, he looks small, man, and he looks freaked. Yeah,
he does. Well, and like you've been saying, he looks like he's literally playing in a rocking chair. As much as Justin Fields is playing with a clean pocket, some of those Alabama games are. Dude.
Really, and look at Jared Goff. Like, Jared Goff is a great thrower when he has time and space. Like, there's no one better. But that's not the NFL. You don't have time and space. You have time and space. You're basically under pressure like 55, 60% of your dropbacks. Mm-hmm. So your ability to handle that, maneuver, get the ball out quick, know where to go with the ball, determines how good you're going to be in the NFL. So he's got all the tools to be like upper echelon, but he also has a lot of development to just be serviceable, to just be average. Because he's going to, like, you look like Sam Darnold's a perfect example, man. Got a lot of tools, doesn't execute, just got Adam Gase fired. Maybe from Adam Gase's perspective, man, hey, I'm bad, but not as bad as he made me look.
I will say, I think the thing I'm really into, and if the reason I'm drafting Justin Fields, it's kind of the same reason you'd be drafting Josh Allen back in the days, because I think they're such good throwers of the ball. Right. I've heard Chris Sims talk about this before. There's a difference between a quarterback and a thrower of the ball, and Justin Fields is an excellent thrower of the ball. He just needs to develop into a better quarterback.
Right. A quarterback is a learned skill. It's almost not an athletic skill. Like, look at Eli Manning. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a learned skill. Justin Fields played baseball. Justin Fields is a natural thrower. That's what he's talking about. He does have, yep. It's just he needs development. Kyle hasn't developed anyone. The offensive line isn't going to do him any favors. The scheme is good. The weapons are good, but I got to watch more. Those Indiana Northwestern stuff is just like scary.
I watched the Northwestern. I think it was the Northwestern game last night. That was scary. That was some scary stuff. And I actually heard that, I was bringing up the Dak comparison, but I feel like in some ways, maybe this isn't the perfect comparison, but I feel like when it's really bad, it's the Josh Allen kind of bad. I feel like he's almost like a 6'3" miniaturized Josh Allen in a way. Maybe, I don't know, but
I see what you're saying. I mean, like they're. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I can see that.
And I think, and I think it's more the reason I make that comparison is more because of the mistakes and how Justin Fields, especially just watching him, even in the good games that he plays where he's not making mistakes, he's trying every second to the last second of the clock to try and make something happen. If he's falling,
that is the truth. He's holding on. He doesn't give up. And Allen was the same way at Wyoming. The only difference is, Allen was running for his life because Wyoming stinks at football. If you put Josh Allen in Ohio State, he would have been.
Well, and that's the thing. I feel like when Justin Fields comes in, he's going to take a lot of those Josh Allen type sacks where he backpedals 20 yards and he kind of falls over himself.
No question. He's going to have to learn like what you can get away with in the NFL, because he can get away with basically anything at Ohio State. Whatever you want to do, man. There's no bad decision. Throw 3 picks, you're going to win. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Your defense is so good. It doesn't matter what it doesn't. It just doesn't matter.
If you watch the whole Northwestern game, he's awful. Yeah. He's so bad. He's almost like going to lose the game for him. But anytime they get in a problem, they hand off Trey Sermon, 30-yard run. Okay, we're back in business.
Well, or even he'll check it down to him, and he gets and then he throws it to him 8 yards. He runs another 20 yards. It's like, oh. Okay.
And so he wins the game, and no one really trips about it. But I don't know. It seems like NFL teams are looking at that, and now you see Charlie Castle. Did you see that? Charlie Castle had in his first mock draft of the offseason on NFL.com, he had Fields at 24. He had Trey Lance going like really high And freaking, I was like, whoa. I like Fields better than Lance. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, and also, man, I feel like what's going on a little bit with the media narrative with Fields is I feel like he's getting sandbagged the most out of any of these kind of.
It's crazy. How come there are legit points there, but what about Zach Wilson? There's legit points there too.
Seriously, what about Mac Jones? I mean,
Jones.
It's like everyone's got so like Justin Fields negative that they're trying to go so positive with the other quarterbacks. I feel like so. I don't know. I feel like a little bit of that is starting to seep into the Justin Fields conversation.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
I would, again, like I was saying yesterday, and all ends in this. The Niners just got to make a friggin' decision at quarterback. You're gonna decide that we're gonna stick with Jimmy, which don't get me started, but we'll stick with Jimmy. We'll extend him, right? Or say we're gonna trade or draft for a guy and develop him, or just whatever. There has to be a viable like plan to where the fan base isn't just going to revolt. Because even though I like some of your early ideas in the offseason of taking Andy Dalton and then like a second or third round guy, if that happens and it's like a year, the PR would be awful after this season. They would get ripped to shreds, especially if they let go of Jimmy Garoppolo. So
yeah, that's true. They got a lot to weigh out on their plate. Figure it out. All right,
high pressure situation, man.
They got themselves in the situation. There may not be an answer. Figure it out, guys. There's only so much we can do over here.
Only so much.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, have a good one, Grant.
Hey, I'll see you soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. That's the show. Hour and 45 minutes. I'm exhausted. I don't know how radio people do like 3-4 hours in a day. I'm tired. So I'm gonna go. Stop. Go have a nice night. Maybe have a little snack. Gotta write an article. I'm gonna do the Jimmy G as a car article because the world needs to read that, I think. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with Botan in the morning and Vish in the afternoon. Last week we did Vish on Vish's channel. This week we're doing Mondays with Vish on my channel again. So see you tomorrow.